Okay, good evening, everyone. We are already in session. We just came from executive session, so welcome all. If you would please stand for a moment of silence. Dr. Parks, will you lead us in the pledge this evening, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, public participation reminder is persons wishing to address the board must sign up prior to the start of the public participation. Speakers must register on the form provided by the district at the entrance of the boardroom to maintain a first-come, first-served process. For purposes of following up with speakers, speakers must provide their name, address, telephone number, and/or email address. To limit comments to matters which may be properly discussed during public participation, the speakers will provide the topics. Any group or organization wishing to address the board must identify a single spokesperson. Thank you for that consideration. Next is the reading of the evacuation procedure. In case of an emergency, would everyone please follow the exit signs to the outside of the building? Please stay completely clear of the building to provide space for any emergency vehicles. And thank you for that consideration as well. We are at item 2. Item 2 is the approval of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve this evening's agenda, please.
Elizabeth?
Elizabeth, second.
Brian?
Brian, thank you. Any comments or questions on this agenda this evening? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 3, Superintendent's update. Dr. Terranova, please.
Thank you, Mr. DeLucia. 2 quick updates. Mrs. Dole, if you could share the next slide, that'd be great. So I'm not going to give an update on the capital project tonight. The vote is October 24th. However, I want to make sure that people understand the list of presentations that are occurring. They start next Tuesday, the 17th, where we're going to do a Facebook Live town hall on Zoom through Victor's Facebook page, and then we also have a PTSA presentation that evening at 7:30, and so on and so forth across different groups. I just wanted to make sure that people know that there's plenty of presentations and opportunities to ask questions about the capital project. We're also going to have a booth at all the open houses in the hallways to answer people's questions and go over any information that they want to. We have a couple videos that are going to come out that explain the project, as well as the important capital project newsletter that explains all the facts and data and details about the capital project. That should be in people's mailboxes roughly early October. Any questions, people should go to victorschools.org, our website, and it's an all-encompassing resource that will support information, and people can certainly ask questions and email me at any time. So that's a big focus, but I wanted to make sure people know where the presentations were, and we're going to publicize those. And then my last piece is we wanted to show a video. As I said, we do monthly town halls on Facebook Live, and typically in any of the town halls when we have students, I always ask them the question, who's made a big difference in your life? Who's made an impact? And the answers they give in terms of the faculty and staff is amazing. So we shared a brief 3-minute clip with the faculty and staff on the opening day for staff a couple weeks ago, and we wanted to show this same video now because it really speaks to just the impact that our faculty and staff make on our kids. So Kim, if we could run the video.
My basketball coach, Coach Zahn, she's always pushing us to be our best selves on and off the court, and always pushing us to improve.
Miss McKinnon, my teacher, because whenever my classmates and me need help, she comes and she helps us mostly, and she's very kind and caring.
My teacher, Miss Corcoran, and my friend Hudson.
I would definitely say I've had amazing teachers all throughout my school career, but for me, it would be my 6th grade math teacher last year. She, Mrs. Irwin, she always, I didn't think that I was very good at math, but she showed me that I wasn't as bad as I thought and that I was actually pretty good. Gave me the confidence that I needed to continue going through school, and it gave me confidence in other subjects too.
Mrs. Munski has had a very positive impact on me, pushing me to learn more ELA just in general, reading and writing, to help set goals for me so I can really expand my mind so I can unlock my full potential.
For me, I'd say my social studies teacher this year, Mr. Taylor. Not only was he so supportive of everyone in Matilda, he also played in the pit, so we got to spend a lot of time with him during Tech Week. And he's so supportive and he was so sweet, and he always made sure to tell us how good we were doing and compliment us on our progress. So I really appreciated him for that.
Probably Mr. D'Agostino, because he's done so much for me. He's helped me develop vocally so much from when I first came to Victor up until now. He's helped me so much with everything, not just vocals, with just everything, with courage, and he's very, very kind and funny.
So I'd like to thank my AP Pre-Calc teacher, Mrs. Burgess. This year, especially with the hamstring stuff, I've had to miss classes to go to PT and do some rehab stuff. And she's made sure to help me stay on top of things, by giving me times to meet with her and giving me very lenient, in terms of helping me, making sure I understand the content. And also not just that, but also making sure I'm okay. So not just trying to keep me on track and on pace as a student, but also showing genuine concern about how I am and how things are going outside of school.
One person that I look to for support is Mrs. Stoutenberg. She's a teacher in high school, and I will have had her 3 out of 4 years of high school by the time I graduate with a class. And I feel very supported by her, very heard by her. I think I can go talk to her, and she has high school daughters who are in athletics, so I can talk to her about those things too, and I think she just is always there.
So great tributes to our faculty and staff, and it's the best part of the town hall. So that's my superintendent's update.
Thank you. The next item is item 4, which is very important, and Brody is not here, so we're going to circle back to that once he arrives. Item 5, public participation. Although the board's work is open to the public, this is not a meeting with the public. At this time, privilege of the floor is offered to those who have signed up to speak. I'll be happy to recognize those of you who wish to speak. When you approach the microphone, please identify yourself before presenting your thoughts. Individual comments will be limited to 3 minutes, and the total time for this portion of the agenda will be limited to 30 minutes. Please note, issues related to specific school district personnel or students must be brought to the attention of the superintendent of schools privately, as they are not discussable at this venue. Thank you for considering that. And the first speaker is Michelle Haar, please.
Hello. As he said, my name is Michelle Haar. I have a son who is coming back to public school this year, starting high school for the first time. I had submitted a request to have a meeting room in order to have a club proposal. As soon as I was filling it out, I saw a little law that was there that said nothing regarding religion. And so when I submitted it, I was going to be very forthright as to what my intention was, and knew that it was very likely that it was going to get denied because it's, titled Living with the Lord. And of course it was denied, and I was not shocked by that. But I just wanted to say that, when I went and looked up, what is religion? Because I don't consider myself religious. So I looked at it and it was like scrupulous conformity or something was the two words that really jumped out at me. And I'm here representing Christ Jesus, thy Lord, thy God, and I'm a servant to him. And my idea of having this living with the Lord was that we could really promote what the Lord means to me, what he's done for me in the last 3 years as I've gone through my transition with him. And to me, that's life, light, love, laughter. Those are the things that really signify to me what the Lord means. Religion and scrupulous conformity is by no means living with the Lord. He doesn't require us to follow rules and regimens and processes and procedures, and none of that holds true. Not since Jesus Christ died and rose again do we have to do any of that. We just have to, one, fear the Lord and put him as our priority morning and night. And we also have to recognize that his son died, and in that name, Jesus Christ, we're able to find him, to follow him, and there is where we will find love for all. And it isn't looking like the way people want it to look. It's really just true, honest, amazing love. And it's a life, and it's a light. And this world is so dark. And if we could offer them another alternative, you know, I look at the school as scrupulous conformity because everything that has happened to my children here is we left because they had to wear masks. We left because of all the testing and the fear factor that was happening with the vaccines. And we left so that they could just go and find somewhere where they weren't being conformed upon. And we found that down in South Carolina. But my son wants to come back here. He is so super excited. He loved the first days of school, and he just loved being a kid with other kids his age. And he's a believer in the Lord. He's a follower of Jesus Christ because he watched what I went through, and he realized it was something really great. It was something not to be discriminated against or attacked or told it was one thing or another thing or rules and regulations. I don't have any rules. I don't have to follow along.
I want to thank you for your comments. The 3 minutes, you have gone over 3 minutes,
Okay.
so
I just
appreciate your comments. Please wrap it up.
Okay. In summation, when I walk through these buildings here, as a believer, I have to see the pitchforks that have the 3 prongs, that's the tormentor. I have to see the devil, right? And that's not really fair to my child because he's being discriminated upon. He's being put in this situation of darkness, and he's trying to be the light and bring the light, but there's no place for us to bring light and love and laughter and togetherness and prioritizing the Creator that actually created us all. And so I just ask that you really think about that you are scrutinizing, discriminating, and you are really making it hard for us to fit in here when we believe in the Lord. We believe our blood is life. We don't want shots going in our arm or masks on our face.
Again,
all right.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you for hearing me.
Way
Thank
over
you for
3
listening
minutes.
to me. And I hope you relook at that and you realize I'm not a religion. I'm freedom. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Travis Betters, please.
Good evening, Travis Betters. Before I begin, I just want to say a couple things about how much the Board of Education doesn't get enough credit for what they do. I didn't really know this until I started looking into it, that none of you are compensated for this. And the amount of time you have to spend on this for our kids and for our community, you really should be commended for it. We might disagree on policy from time to time, but what you do for our community, I don't think it's enough credit for. So I just wanted to thank you, my wife and I thank you for you guys' service to do this. Speaking of my wife and I, we've lived in Victor for the last 15 years. We have 2 kids in the school system, and we're both from Western New York. I grew up in Batavia. She grew up in Oakfield. We are Western New Yorkers through and through. So we love living in Victor, and that's why we're still here. I was fortunate enough to start a company about 20 some odd years ago, and started with one employee. And then over that time, I've been very fortunate, hired hundreds of people, and I'm really proud to say that I've built one of the largest companies in Rochester today. So why do I mention this? I get asked all the time, we get asked all the time, the same question from our friends. Why are our kids in public school? And why aren't they in private school? And I always say the same thing. I was a product of public school. My wife is a product of public school. We did it. We went to college. We ended up having careers. I believe in the balance that public schools provide more so than what a private school can provide. All right? I'm sure people will debate that. But it's getting harder for me to answer that question to our friends. So it begs the question, why? Why? I'll give you two reasons why. One is the safety of our kids and the education that our kids get. Okay? Those are the two most profound things to us that we think about every day. When the school goes through a hiring process of a teacher, it's incredibly difficult. And I give you guys a lot of credit because not only do you have to find the right person who can do the job the best, but you also have to find the right person who has the right character. You're never going to bat 1,000, right? You're always going to hope that this is the right person we've hired and that they're going to be the best teacher that they could possibly be. But don't we have to accept the fact that there's bad actors that can get through the hiring process, all right? At a company, that happens all the time, and then we dismiss them, right? All you have to do is look at some of the examples around the area. I think there was an example with the Hilton superintendent not too long ago that, created a very bad situation for the school system. We're never going to eliminate all the risk that happens at the schools. But why do we have to always be reactive as opposed to proactive? Okay? Why does a child have to be scarred for the rest of their life before we make a common sense change? Okay, so where am I going with this? You guys have the ability to create policies, right? And so we strongly believe, my wife and I strongly believe, why should a teacher be allowed into any of the kids' bathrooms or locker rooms? Okay, just teachers and adults, okay? These are designated areas for our children. I know it's highly encouraged that they use adult facilities, okay? But why can't we create a policy that prohibits these adults from entering those facilities to use the facilities? Safety and security concerns are different, okay? Any adult should be allowed to go in if there's a safety and security concern. Let me give you an example. It's a bit of a lightning rod, but it will prove the point even though it's a little bit of exaggeration. If an adult male walks into the school tomorrow, uses the boys' bathroom or locker room, chooses to use the facility and completely undress, that is currently okay according to policy. If that teacher so chooses tomorrow to then enter the school, enter the girls' locker room or the girls' bathroom, use the facility, completely undress, that is actually allowed if that teacher uses the correct phrasing as it relates to being a transgender. Okay, let's say a week goes by, he decides, I'm not that person anymore. I'm going back to being the guy. My point is, at what point do we say, this doesn't really make sense anymore? At what point do we say, this is a problem? I understand that that situation is very challenged in the current environment that we have. So why don't we go back to the beginning and not allow the teachers in those facilities?
I'm gonna have to ask you to please conclude. You're over your 3 minutes.
The reason I'm here is because my wife and I traditionally this is our first time here. We get talked to about this topic so much that I actually felt the need to come here and talk about it. There's dozens and dozens of people in the community that have this same exact concern, okay? I know there's laws. I know that we have to be very mindful of those things, okay? But if other school systems have figured out a policy to protect our kids in this same exact situation, why can't we do the same? And that's what I'm asking, is that we use a little bit of common sense, we realize that there's a potential for bad actors, and we come up with a solution that's fair and reasonable that enhances our safety of our kids. So thank you, I appreciate it. Sorry for going a little long. Again, I hope that this resonates a little bit and that you guys can have a conversation about creating a policy. That's all. And hopefully this wraps up soon enough for you guys so you can watch the Bills game. Go Bills.
Thank you for your comments.
Can I make a comment? So, thank you, Mr. Betters. I appreciate that. A few things. One, I did, just so you know, in case I called the wrong number, I left you a message yesterday on your cell phone to give me a call about your concerns. So I just wanted to make sure I send it to the right number. Okay, so if you want to, certainly can't make it. If you want to, you can give me a call at any time about that. All right. The other two pieces, I'm not aware of any, and certainly if this happens, we would take care of it. I'm not aware of any adults changing in boys or girls' locker rooms. That shouldn't be happening. And I'm also very supportive of the concept of where we really don't want adults using student bathrooms in an emergency. That might happen, but that's something that adults do use adult bathrooms, and that's what's supposed to happen. So that's something we can look at. And then just my last point is that this is a district that has always prided itself on making sure it's a safe, welcoming environment for all people. So I'm just going to tell you, as a superintendent, regardless of the other specifics around the bathrooms, which I definitely hear you on, I'm always going to be supportive of people, regardless of their differences, as long as they're, as far as teachers, as long as they're doing what's supposed to happen with kids. So we're going to be a welcoming environment. We're going to appreciate people's differences, and that's what we want to also teach our kids. So that's just my philosophy as a superintendent. I know we can't get in a dialogue here because this isn't a...
And I wasn't insinuating that a teacher had done that. That wasn't the point. The point was there's no policy that prevents that.
Yeah, so that's something...
That was the point. That was all.
That's something we definitely need to look at, and I look forward to your phone call if you're interested.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Our next speaker is Mike Modleski, please.
This will be quick and easy, I swear. Mike Modleski, President of the Victor Teachers Association. I try to do this every year, but I think this year it's especially so. It's just really been a great start to the year, and thanks to you, I echo what, I can't remember his name that just spoke, said, the work that you do without any compensation at all is enormous work and important work, and thank you for that. And it was so clear on the first days of school this year that the administrative team really put some hard work in this summer to make sure that we had the environment that we needed to start the year really strong. So thank you to them, and thank you to you, and really looking forward to a great year. So thank you.
Great, thanks. And that is our reward when we hear things like that. Thank you. Okay. I have no one else signed up, so we are at item 6, which is acceptance of consent items, 6A through J. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent items, please. Motion?
Lisa?
Lisa, second, please. Anyone?
Elizabeth?
Adam?
Oh, I'm sorry, Adam.
Adam got it. Any comments or questions on any of these items? Item E, approve the following donations. We've got $175 from the Victor Girls Volleyball Booster Club to the Victor Central School District to cover the shipping and freight cost for an on-point volleyball target. We appreciate these types of contributions by these groups, so thank you for that. Anything else? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Thank you. We are at item 7A, Campus News. We won't have to hear Dr. T tonight.
Good evening. My name is Laura Reynolds, the Assistant Principal at the Early Childhood School. I'm pleased to be here to share with you all about the start of our school year. The start to our school year has been extremely positive and smooth, in part thanks to the help and support of many district office admin and staff who are on the bus loop and in our hallways, helping our district's littlest learners find their way to their new classrooms. We appreciate the supportive culture that we have here at Victor. Like last year, our school theme for our students is Go for the Gold, as we strive to help every student understand the importance of treating others how they want to be treated. We're confident that as we build strong relationships and foundational skills at the ECS, it will have a positive impact on the entire school district and Victor community. Students, families, and faculty and staff are all hard at work learning the routines of school. One activity that all students are participating in is our ECS behavior passports. As students learn the expected behaviors for each location within our school, they earn a stamp on a classroom passport. Once the passport is filled up and completed, students celebrate their accomplishment with a blue Vex Proud bracelet that they can wear throughout the school day, at home, or in our community. Students in grade 1 started the fall benchmark assessment this week. This information gives us a baseline data point so that we can accurately monitor and celebrate the excellent growth that our students make in both reading and math. Coming up soon, we are looking forward to our open house on October 10th. We can't wait to welcome our students and families into our building to show off their amazing work and what is happening each day. Thank you very much, and we hope you have a wonderful 24-25 school year.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Heidi Robb, the principal at the primary school. At the primary school, we're also off to a really great start. One of our focuses this year is to really consider the community at Victor Primary School, both with the students and with the staff. So on our opening days, our staff participated in what's called a goose chase. And that is kind of an online scavenger hunt where the staff had to take pictures and videos and submit them, and we could either accept them or reject them, and it was so much fun. If you've got some time, I'd love to share some of the videos of my colleagues. It's hysterical. Dr. T was part of a thumb war. He did not win. Read some poems with some of our staff, but it was really a great way to start, build our community with our staff. We're also looking to build that community with our students. And tomorrow we have our opening ceremony at the primary school. And that's going to be a morning meeting with all 700 students in one location. If you can't see my heart rate, I'm a little nervous about it, but I think it'll be great. So we're all going to go into the gym. One of our music teachers wrote a beautiful little Victor Cares song. We'll be singing that. Should be great fun. Lastly, I just want to thank our staff. They were hard at work over the summer and on opening days to create such a great welcome for our students. Similar to last year, the number of hugs I saw is that our returning third graders came back and some of our multi-age students. It was pretty incredible. So thanks to them for all their hard work. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jim Morrow, and I am the principal of Victor Intermediate School. I'm delighted to share with you that the intermediate school has had a truly positive start to the school year. Both staff and students have embraced our focus on strengthening classroom and school-wide communities. One standout event is our community read, where the entire school is immersed in reading the Explorer Academy, The Nebula Secret. This book, rich with STEAM concepts, has captivated our students. We even had the excitement of a drone flying over the assembly to kick off the event.
Oh, boy.
A heartfelt thank you goes to Maggie Elliott and the Community Read Committee for their dedication in making this such a memorable experience for our students. We've also been holding grade-wide assemblies to foster a sense of community at each grade level and to emphasize our monthly character traits. This month, we're concentrating on respect. In classrooms, teachers are actively engaging students through morning meetings and community circles. For instance, one teacher creatively used a science experiment to illustrate the importance of kindness and respect. Overall, it's been an inspiring start to the year, and we look forward to building on this momentum as we continue to support our students' growth and development. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Sess. I'm the principal at Victor Senior High School. Brian Gee and Laura Westerman could not be here tonight, so I'm going to share their September news with the board tonight. Brian Gee wanted to share with the board the 3 goals that the junior high school are focusing on this year. The first is sustaining open lines of communication and feedback with all staff to inform decision making and increase student connections to their grade level and the teams. And they're doing that already through 3 specific steps that they've accomplished. The first is that they're planning their 3rd annual homecoming pep assembly. This year, they're going to be looking to support the goals of creating greater connections for students and their grade levels and teams so that their events are going to focus more on inclusivity than they have the last couple of years. They're going to be kicking off this year's musical, The Addams Family, with auditions this week. And they're supporting Student Council's first meeting for every interested student and preparing their live speeches and elections, which are set for later this month in September. They're also going to have positions at both grade levels as representatives for a grade level team for students who want a role but might not be elected. So they're really trying to expand participation. The other 2 goals that they've got for this year include ensuring that students will have increased opportunities for active engagement and productive struggle in each of their classes, and continuing the grade level team instructional support team work that started last year and supporting the evolution of the multi-tiered system of support by creating a process and a team to review building-based data multiple times a year to help inform decision making. And Mr. Gee said that each month he will be providing updates on the progress of these goal areas. For the senior high school, 8 days ago, we opened our doors to 1,319 students in our 4 grade levels with more than 160 staff members who are ready and excited to begin this school year. Our staff members are already getting into curricular content and forming new connections with the students. We had a fantastic opening with our staff 2 weeks ago, and we put a heavy emphasis on linking our building goals with the district's strategic management plan with a continued focus on culture building and academic performance. We're especially focusing on revisiting our professional learning community structure, which is something that we brought to the district about 10 years ago. The staff this year are going to be utilizing specific data with the help of Karen Fincher in the Office of Instruction to help structure their department goals for this year. In addition, we had the opportunity to bring in Dr. Sim Covington, who is the Chief Diversity Officer at FLCC, who came in on the last conference day to speak to our entire staff about the power of language and speech, which was a major emphasis for the work that we're doing with our students this year. The emphasis on speech and its impact on others connects directly to the data we received from the belonging surveys that our students did in the spring. So we're going to be working on that this year. A couple of other updates for this month. Our class of 2025 seniors are already showing their excitement to celebrate their last year with us and bond as a class. Tomorrow morning, we've got Senior Sunrise. It's going to start at 6:20 a.m. Join me if you'd like.
That's the middle of the night.
What's that? Yes,
It's
it
the
is.
middle of the night.
They're going to gather out on the turf to watch literally the sun rise. We had Senior Connection last month, which was a huge, enormous success. We're planning the Halloween party, our traditional homecoming pep assembly dance, and Mrs. Berkmeyer and Mrs. Steckel, who are the 2 class advisors, are doing a great job being their advisors. And we also had a great orientation program for our freshmen and new students last month. I had the opportunity to speak with the parents and the students to welcome them to Victor High School, and this week we had our class meetings for all students in grades 9 through 12. So we've got a pretty busy opening, and we're looking forward to a great year. So thank you.
Great, thank you. So nice to hear about the great start of the school year. So there you have it, the September edition of Campus News. 7B, Summer programming update. Karen Finter, Karen Ryan, please. Or should I say Karen squared?
I appreciate that. I also know that staff refers to us as the Karens, and we try to make sure that they know we're the nice ones.
Okay.
So it is our great pleasure to be here tonight to tell you a little bit about all of the wonderful things that happened on this campus over the course of the summer. First, a big thank you to our 3 Victor School staff members who really took a leadership role to design the program, to facilitate the program. So thank you to Allison Jensen, who is a reading interventionist at the intermediate school, Nick Davidson, who is our tech integration TOSA. He helped to support the Summer Enrichment and Academy as a teacher leader. And Jeff Pistrito, who is a special educator at the primary school. He served as the teacher leader in support of the extended school year program. So Summer Academy, as you know, is a 12-day experience for students that really provides that targeted work in mathematics or reading. Students are identified based on criteria looking at assessment data, classroom observational data, and the students come in excited, ready to continue their learning, and they work in small groups with teachers. We had this summer 273 students enrolled, and while that number is large, it's about average for what we've seen over the last few years. Students were grouped based on their need, whether it was reading, mathematics, or both. And for some students who may have only needed one of those subject areas, they were offered opportunities for some enrichment along the way as well, some creative writing, some readers' theater work, those problem-solving skills, those kinds of things. We had a tremendous level of support. Our teachers that stepped up to facilitate instruction during the course of the summer. Every building is represented by the names that you see on this list. And certainly the teacher aides are really unsung heroes of that work as they support individual student needs, some groupings, supporting with transitions, parent pickup, and we really want to extend our heartfelt thanks to these wonderful folks for their work with our students this summer. We did have one new component of Summer Academy, and it was a boost program for our students that were exiting the junior high in the 15-1 classroom and heading into the high school. 8 students attended the program, and the focus really was to build some academic skills, but also to build some of the social emotional skills and just help ease the transition that can be difficult for some students. Principal Siesto had an opportunity. They had a culminating activity at the end of the summer and a family celebration. Families came, and Mr. Siesto was so excited to share that it was clear the students not just learned the content, but they also they were able to make the transition pretty seamlessly to the high school and learn some of the important soft skills along the way too. So there's just a few photos of that work over the summer. In addition to Summer Academy, we also had 4 fabulous days of enrichment. Courses were delivered by grade band. We had all sorts of different opportunities from students, from mandala painting to problem solving, breakout boxes, looking at some digital media work. Kids had a great time exploring over the course of the summer. For this program, we had 280 students. So for those of you that are counting, we're almost at 600 kids with these 2 programs alone. Really just a tremendous response from our community to have students participate. Come on. There we go. our teachers. Just a big thank you again to the teachers who designed the experiences. We had, again, teachers from every building across the district represented. We also owe a thank you to Mrs. Suetz, who, through the work-based learning program, found some students who may be interested in education, supporting our students in this way. So we had some student volunteers for the first time this summer. So it really made for a fantastic experience for our students.
And so we also this summer continue to offer our extended school year program for our students with disabilities. This program is a 6-week program really designed to prevent academic and social, emotional, and behavioral regression for our students. We had 106 students meet eligibility criteria. That criteria is reviewed at their annual reviews. 61 of those students joined us on campus here at VCS. And we had both half-day and full-day programs for those students, along with related services of speech, OT, physical therapy, and music therapy. 5 of our students from Victor did attend the School of the Holy Childhood. We do access that program for some of our older students. It gives them a different experience and really is starting to prepare them for some of those post-secondary life experiences. And then we had 29 students who are in out-of-district programs continue in those out-of-district ESY programs. Our theme this year was camping in the great outdoors, and students' learning experiences included researching animals that lived in the forest, creating crafts to really identify features. They went on scavenger hunts, and we also incorporated some Lego learning this summer. We put in a little bit of the Special Olympics because we were right in the middle of it, or the Olympics. We had the field games, and so this is where we had students who high school students who participate in our sports at the high school level came down and they worked with our students during a mini Olympics, and it really promoted team building and teamwork. Our 9th through 12th grade students did a work-based experience. They made first aid kits for the classrooms, along with doing some summer PD folders, and we continue to partner with Park and Rec for our 4th through 12th graders to swim every Friday in the afternoons. The best part of our program are our students and our staff. 100% of our students maintain those skills towards those identified ESY goals. Our staff included 10 full-time teachers. Our teacher leader, Jeff Prestuito. We had an amazing teacher assistant aide staff, our related service providers, and many of our district staff supported our program. We had a lot of technology support from Angela Fonte's team. We couldn't have done it without Kelly, Clink and Transportation. Alex Teepol's team provided lunches for students who qualified or needed lunch over the summer. Kristen Rankert served as our school nurse. And then we have our PPS special education staff, TOSAs and teacher leaders were there. In addition to the ESY summer program, we also had regional summer school. Last year we hosted in Victor. This year it was in Canandaigua. We had 57 Victor students enrolled in the entire program. 87 attended for that last week of prep. As a result, we had 1 August graduate from that summer program. We also, again, hosted the summer college essay camp. We had 170 students complete this week-long intensive program that really taught them about college application process. They created essays. They received feedback from their peers and their teachers. And when I reached out to the team, one of the quotes that they said is, one of the kids said they could not imagine not coming to this and how much they've accomplished in 4 days. So that was a great opportunity. And then one of the last programs we're going to highlight tonight is our partnership with the Parks and Rec program and Camp Invention. We had over 100 students be able to participate in activities that they were interested in and build relationship with their peers. The Camp Invention program is very much supports those interests in those STEAM areas. And I think overall, all of our programs provided a wide range of opportunities for our students and was very successful. Any questions?
Questions, board?
For 185 kids. Let's add that to your number.
I will. Thank you.
Almost 1,000 then.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
All right, that was great by the Karens, the nice ones. Okay, now, we are going to take the opportunity to circle back to item 4, which is recognition for Brody Stewart. Me?
Sure, yeah. Please.
Okay, so I am honored to recognize Mr. Brody Stewart. On March 11th, 2024, the Greater Rochester Chamber held its first National Civics Bee, and the winner of that regional competition was Brody, an 8th grader last year. You're 9th grade now, right? Yeah. 8th grader last year. And then, because of that, Brody qualified for the New York State Civics Competition in Albany on May 30th, 2024, and he was the first place champion. So he is a state champion. And he has qualified for the fall national competition in Washington, D.C. Did that happen yet? No, not yet. Not yet. So he's going to Washington, D.C. to compete against the best of the best in the country. So this was a letter that came from Robert Duffy, who is the Greater Rochester Chamber of Commerce president. And we have a certificate to give Brody because we love to recognize young people, and nobody deserves it more than him because what an amazing accomplishment. He's a 9th grader. He just came from his football scrimmage. Somehow he changed. And are you a Bills fan?
I am.
So you can,
Good at that.
you can leave and get back to the game. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Take a round of applause for Brody.
Again, congratulations.
What do you want? Where do you want?
We can.
Yeah, because we're too short, right?
Ready? Let's get in the middle. Great job, man. All right. Take care.
Enjoy the Bills game.
That's how it's going.
Okay, who's unfortunate to have to follow that now? Let's see. Yeah.
Good Karen again.
7C, Computer Science and Library Media Program Reviews.
Okay, back up again. So this program reviews took a bit of a hiatus and went through a bit of a revamp through the work of Curriculum Council per guidance from our strategic plan. And so from that strategic plan, one of the areas of focus is around curriculum and instruction and developing a guaranteed and aligned curriculum that has vertical alignment. And so Curriculum Council set out last year to really, or 2 years ago rather, to really look at a process that would take a deep dive into programs, really look at how those programs are supporting student achievement and student growth, and then to allow departments to work through the recommendation process to develop action plans that would help improve student achievement and student performance. So the program review is a way to look at lots of information, look at research and best practices, and really centers on 2 questions. To what extent are our students achieving expectations for their learning? And to what extent are our programs helping to support that achievement? Is there a disconnect? Are there areas of need? And so the Program Review Committee really takes a look at data and information through the lens of those 2 questions and finds themes to craft recommendations around. Some of those recommendations might require further work, and that's where departments will make some action steps or action plans. We do have a review schedule, and like any schedule. Sometimes we have to be flexible with some of these schedules. You know, it's hard to think 6 years out, but the idea would be that departments would be on a 6-year, 5 to 7 year rotation, really, to go through this program review process. But as we know, sometimes mandates, state education work can throw a wrench in some of these best laid plans, and so we have to be flexible as we can. But this year, we're really going to start looking at our academic intervention processes at the mid-year mark. UPK is going through some work. They have a slightly different system through their grant process with the State Education Department and their annual quality review. And we're continuing our multi-age program review that should wrap mid-year this year. But Carrie and Angela are here to tell you a little bit about the program reviews that they led last year in terms of our library media program and our computer science program. They'll explain a bit on what that first year looked like as they led their committees to go through the data and the information to generate recommendations. And they're right in this yellow box right now. They're working with their teams to really think about how are we going to accomplish these recommendations? What are the action steps we need to take? Do we have to look at curriculum and materials? Do we have to do a survey of our constituents to get additional information? So they're going to be able to share with you the outcome of those 2 program reviews. And so I'm going to turn it over to Angela Affronti, who led our library program review.
Thank you for having us here tonight. So like Karen said, we were kind of the 2 guinea pig programs in this new library program review experience, and it's been really a nice thing to kind of go through, because I think professionally I was able to grow a lot outside of the technology field, which I really appreciate. So thanks, Karen, for letting me do this work. So our library program review, our committee was obviously our 5 librarians. And am I doing this, or you can? Oh, sorry. There you go. Oops. And we also had additional building representation, including a regional partner, Kate Hamill at Finger Lakes BOCES. She is our school library systems coordinator. And not only was she a partner in doing this work, but she came to Victor countless times to help Karen and I kind of think through things and plan different research or different things that we need to look at. And she also helped arrange visits to talk to different librarians in the region. So a big shout out to her. So we started this work on our release day in October, but the planning really started in August of last year. We met a variety of times. What's really nice about our contractual PD is it has that built-in time throughout the year where we can come together as a K-12 library team and kind of work through different research, different data, looking at what we're doing as 5 separate libraries and how we can kind of get that aligned. So we use that contractual PD dates throughout the year, and then also our release days were taken kind of periodically. So this is the most important slide for me, and it's our recommendation. So this is what Karen was talking about, that yellow box we're living in. So obviously we can't do all 6 in year 2, but we're really going to focus on providing those guaranteed learning opportunities. We really want to make sure that every student in Victor is getting those opportunities, and it doesn't matter who your teacher is or what building you're in, you're having a similar experience in our library program. So we're going to be doing some curriculum writing and really kind of focusing in on making sure that that's aligned. In addition, we noticed throughout the surveys and the more data we collected in the library programs that our libraries, some of them aren't functional. And this kind of connects to one of our 4 themes of our capital project regarding building renovations and innovation. So regarding specifically the high school library, we know that we've had to be creative and use that space for different reasons. So we really want to take a look at that space. We know we've grown throughout the years, but how can we really kind of look at that library and make it more towards a 21st century learning space and a space that's truly dedicated to be that high school library? I can talk about the other recommendations, but I'll keep it short. We know the Bills are playing. But we are going to look at this year 2. Like Karen said, year 3, we're going to be doing more. So even though the library program review is over, it's really not over. It's kind of like a living document that's going to guide our work throughout this school year.
Good evening, everybody. I'm here to talk to you about the computer science program review. I've been at Victor a long time and participated in a lot of program reviews, and this by far was the most energizing experience I've been involved in terms of a program review. And the exciting part about it is it creates a really clear vision for our future and already resulted in change and impact for our students. So very excited to talk to you about that tonight. Our program review is a little different because computer science isn't an established or separate department right now. It's embedded within our high school math department and kind of sprinkled within our K-8 experiences. So it was a little tricky sometimes for us to figure out our lane and try and stay in it because there's a lot of overlap with technology, with library media. So it was challenging for us to figure out how to keep that focus, but really resulted in some strong outcomes. This is the group of stakeholders that participated in our program review. The 2 students on this list, Rebecca Martz and Emily Owens, this year are seniors. They were exceptional participants. They spoke probably more than anybody. They are strongly invested in our computer science program. Both are continuing that a field of that study post their days at Victor. Excellent contributions, and both of them advocated very strongly and pushed until this resulted in impact for them this year in their senior year. So a huge thanks to them. Our parents kind of did double duty. Both of them had strong background in the professional field that were able to bring some experiences and perspective in both as a parent but as a professional as well. And what a collection of experience and perspective for our staff. Everyone on this list highly invested in growing this program and brought a lot to the process. So our experience, we had to start by kind of looking at current state because it's not one of those programs that has a very defined identity, K-12, because it looks very different K-8 than it does 9-12. So we spent a lot of time looking at current state and doing some learning about our current data, our enrollment, what kind of experiences our students were having in 3rd grade inquiry versus 9th grade or 10th grade computer science 1. So there was a lot of learning for us. We did a lot of research around current trends in the field and what pieces and skills students that are going into that field really need to strengthen. We utilized some of our strongest alumni and connected with them and identified where they felt like gaps or strengths were going into their post-secondary programs. We had conversations and communication with several professionals in the field, really guiding us in terms of things that a strong computer science program should include in order to prepare our students. So after looking at that data and using that research, we wanted to develop what we felt like were our program goals and commitments that we wanted as part of our end game at Victor. It helped us identify what our strengths already were and some possible areas where we could grow and develop in order to support experiences for all students. Once we had that desired state, we took our current state and did a gap analysis to figure out where we needed to do some work. That helped support the creation of our recommendations and action items, which we're working on this year. So the recommendations, each of these has several action items underneath it, but in the interest of time. The first one was around instructional programming. This is a very important one because these experiences right now are not guaranteed and viable for all students, especially in that K-6 realm. Students get a sprinkling of this throughout elementary if they're lucky to be one of the students pulled into one of those inquiry pieces, if they happen to be involved in our extracurricular opportunities, but it's not guaranteed and viable for everyone, and that's something that we want to change and adjust. So we want to look at that, but that also comes along with some needs in terms of space and staff and curriculum and how we can create these innovative, creative spaces to align with what we're asking our students to do. We also need to look at our 9-12 computer science pathway. This is actually technically a 10-12 before this year. Our students would typically start computer science programming in 10th grade at Victor and then would run out of programming because we didn't have enough years of that. So we were able, with the support of Dr. Terranova and Karen Finter, to even put in place this year, at the strong urging of Emily and Rebecca, a third year of programming this year, which the students are so excited about and energized. Mr. Chris Weiss did an amazing job developing that pilot course over the summer to bring to our students, because we've always had a high number of students be enrolled in independent study because we ran out of coursework. And now we're excited to be able to really develop a full pathway for our students to make them very well-rounded in several different areas. We also want to explore the intersection of that content, especially the overlap with our technology programs, with our work-based learning program. We've had several students already do job shadows. We have one student this year on the way to being 2 that are going to be doing an internship, one in the fall, one in the spring, specifically around programming and coding. So just a way for those students. We have 2 of our most passionate students actually doing internships in our current computer science 1 and 2 courses, really helping some of those younger students onboard them and be able to now create this opportunity for even our incoming freshmen. With that comes some challenges, and that's why it's exciting, some of the elements of our upcoming capital project, just because it will help us create those spaces and staffing and opportunities for our students to really deepen some of those experiences. Our connections to inquiry and extracurricular, as indicated, not all students have option or access, I guess, to those inquiry opportunities. We're limited on numbers and space and platforms and devices, all of those pieces. So we want to create those experiences for all. We want to really enhance our extracurricular options for students, starting all the way in kindergarten, to build that momentum and keep it going. We especially want to look at the involvement of some of our subgroups. For some of our students, we tend to have some trends in terms of who's involved in this pathway in those opportunities, and we want to widen that scope so that all of our students are being having that same kind of access. We want to develop department identity and leadership for this program. We need someone to kind of own this and help push this along, as that growth is so important. We need to do some work around enhanced access to devices, materials, and space. We need the space our students are working in to align with what we're asking them to do. We have students sitting at desks. We have portable lap pads for students because our enrollment in these courses is growing faster than we can keep up. So right now, currently at the high school, we have one of those computer science spaces, and we want to develop that. We want to be able to offer them additional platforms and devices to align with some of the tasks that they're asked to do. And our final recommendation is around learning for all stakeholders. So especially for students and parents, we want to put that research that we found in terms of the trends and growth in this field and what it can provide to a student for them to have experiences within that pathway. And maybe break down some of those stereotypes around who those students are involved in this. Our 4th year of programming could be something a little different, maybe go into a Python coding or an app development or game development. So what we want to try and do is widen that profile of students involved in our computer science program, and we want parents and students to be able to know what this can provide for them. We also have some learning involved for our staff, because this is related to our computer science and digital fluency standards. And right now, that feels isolated to certain departments when actually that overlaps into all of our content areas. So this was an energizing process, super excited. As I said, I've been a part of program reviews where we would come up with recommendations and they would sit on a binder, and they would collect dust. And they wouldn't result in growth and momentum forward, and this already has had impact. So I'm super appreciative for the support and excited to see where this is going to go next. So thank you. Any questions?
Questions? Looks like that yellow box is going to be very impactful. So.
I have a comment or comments. One, first off, thank you, obviously, for all the great work. And this, I think, actually extends beyond this, but Dr. Terranova and President DeLucia and Vice President Kostecki, when you were recognizing Brody, and then when you listed, the involvement of students in the program review, I just started thinking that all the presentations that we have, we really should be also recognizing the admin, the staff, and the faculty, because what's resonating for me is we're celebrating students, we're supporting students, but it's because we're involving students, and I want to make sure that doesn't get lost with the work that you did and all the other things that got presented to us during the course of a school year. So thank you.
Yeah, well said, thank you. Any other comments? Thank you so much. Okay, we are at 7D, which is a mission and vision update. Dr. Terranova, please.
Okay, so just a couple comments about the mission and vision development. It started about the second half of last school year, and we really needed to take a deep dive into the mission and vision of our district. It hadn't been looked at for a while. So it started with significant input from students, staff, and community members through multiple surveys. We actually went back and surveyed the students twice to get significant input from them, tied to Dr. Parks' comment about really getting kids involved. Then a large group of over 35 community members, included all different aspects of our school community, reviewed the significant amount of data, not just from the surveys, but academic data and other data that the facilitative group, which was the Causewave group, Kate and Todd were the facilitators of that. They really helped kind of streamline all the data, and then this group of 35 individuals looked at it. It included Board of Ed and many students. Then a smaller group of 13 to 18 community members, including Board of Ed staff, students, met 3 more times to review the themes that were gathered from all that data and sort of weave those themes into a rough draft of our vision. Again, this committee actually included 5 students out of the 15 to 18, and they had a significant contribution not only to the rough draft of the vision, but also the final draft. And then the Causewave group helped to take all that information, streamline it, again, take that rough draft and revise it based upon feedback from this group, and then ultimately that same group developed the mission of the district. The vision is looking ahead 20 to 25 years. Where do we want Victor Central School District to be? The mission is really the immediate things that we need to do to get there. So both documents were created. So we ended up with a large vision narrative, a small vision statement, and a short to small mission statement. And so, am I going the right way? No, the wrong way, sorry. There we go. So I gave the board a copy of the vision. This is the vision statement. It's actually 5 paragraphs, but I'll let you read the first 2, and then I'll just talk for a second about it. So the first paragraph really speaks to the amazing culture we currently have and that we want to continue to develop over the next 20, 25 years. And then the second paragraph is a meaty one, and it really focuses on the impact of great teaching practice and in conjunction with an amazing community partnership. So it's teaching practice. How do we do what's best for kids? How do we balance that with the needs of the community? And then how do we collaborate with the community to build those strong partnerships along with great communication? Oops. I'll let you read the final 3 paragraphs of the vision narrative. So the third paragraph, the top one here, is focused on, this is the part that I think intrigues me the most, this paragraph. How do we individualize our instruction in the most student-centered way so that every child has their own learning pathway to success? That is our vision. using all the technology and all the things in the 21st century that are available to us. The second paragraph really gets to that, really focused on support as well as meeting the needs of not just students, but our staff. You can't support our kids without supporting our staff and taking care of one another. And that last paragraph is all about Victor and the Victor Farmington area and the sense of pride that this place has had since they built the campus in 1938, built the school on the Ladd farm to now. And how do we utilize that sense of pride to build on the successes over the next 20, 25 years. So you have things around culture, the impact of great teaching and collaboration with the community, student-centered individualized learning pathways, great support for our kids and our staff, and then ultimately utilizing that amazing community pride that we have at Victor. Ultimately, the vision statement is just an excerpt from the 5 paragraphs. Together, we will build a thriving educational community that inspires every individual to shape their own future with confidence and pride. That's a synthesis of 5 paragraphs. And then when it comes to the mission, again, this is how we're going to get to that vision. Together, we create engaging learning environments that promote empathy, inclusivity, and opportunity by uniting community and classroom. Our dedicated, supported staff prepare and inspire every student to achieve their academic potential and thrive in an ever-changing world. So I can't thank the start of this process where hundreds of people had influence over what we want to be as a school district, all the way down to the 12 to 15 to 18 community members that finalized the vision and mission. It was truly a team effort, and I really do believe it encapsulates what this district and what this community is all about and wants to become over the next 20 to 25 years. This is, the board has had this for a couple weeks now. All the board members were involved at some point in this process, and I would just recommend that we look it over as a board, and then in October, if the board is comfortable with it, that the board would actually approve our vision and mission moving forward at the October board meeting. Any questions from the board regarding the mission and vision?
Well done. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, we are at 7E, which is to approve the following trips. Victor Marching Band to Newark, Delaware, is that?
It is.
From 10/18 to 10/20 to participate in Bands of America Mid-Atlantic Regional Championship. The Seas Club ski trip to North Creek, New York, 3/7 to 3/9. And then grades 9 through 12 students to, Brovnik, Croatia, and boy, I'm having trouble here. In Venice, Mestre, Italy, from 4/10 to 4/19. Sorry for all the mispronunciations. Motion, please.
Elizabeth?
Elizabeth, second?
Brian.
Give it to Brian.
Brian?
Yep, you give it
You
to
got it. Any comments or questions on these great opportunities?
Can't wait to see the pictures at a board meeting.
Yes, you'll be able to see pictures of them. Is that the question?
It was a comment that I can't wait to see them.
I want to recognize Joe Carey and the high school because they took a trip that originally was going to be very expensive and they cut it by thousands of dollars and are working toward making sure that families who don't have those funds are still able to attend if they want to. So a big shout out for them.
Great. Good to hear. Any no other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Thank you. 7F, policy review, first reading and final reading of the following policy: conflict of interest, policy 9120.1, and board meeting procedures, policy 2350. A couple of minor changes. We all saw them. Any comments or questions on those? Well, first, let me entertain a motion to.
So moved.
Dr. Parks, sounded like. Second?
Lisa?
Lisa? Any comments or questions? We want to see the Bills game. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Meeting reports, Monroe County School Boards Association, committee reports. Lisa, you want to
Mr.
start?
DeLucia and I attended the first information exchange meeting last night. Topic was something that many of us are familiar with, that we've done on board retreats before, about roles and responsibilities of the board versus the superintendent. It's always actually a very informative and good reminder, talking a lot about staying in our lanes. But I think Mr. DeLucia and I both felt like this is a board who, and we spoke up quite a bit about how well we do that. So thank you to everyone sitting at this table.
Yep.
Thank you for going.
Yeah, thank you for that. Anything else? About standing committee updates?
Be sure to join us on October 17th at for the next board meeting for the Arts Hall of Fame. Person will be receive their dedication or their award, so that'll be 6:30 on the 17th.
Nice. Thank you. Anything else?
After our board meeting, right? Board meeting the 10th.
Board meeting is the 17th.
Yep, totally. Okay, I'm on it now. Back in.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, as we hurry to adjournment, number 9, upcoming events. Public hearing for the capital project is October 7th, 7 p.m., early childhood school boardroom, that's here. Next regular board meeting, October 17th. And then the capital project vote, October 24th, from noon to 8 in the Aquatic Center lobby.
A reminder of that change. We're normally in here for a lot
Yep,
of it.
we are.
Okay, good to know.
Yep. Okay, anything else? Motion to adjourn.
Lisa?
Lisa, second. Second?
Elizabeth?
Elizabeth? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Go Bills.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. We have had a meeting. Thank you.